Hi. Well, I think I'm live. Yes. Okay, this is a live stream, and which means you can ask questions in the group chat if you need to. I've been talking about Ernest Holmes' book, this thing called You, and it is just, Ernest Holmes just gives a great introduction into the idea of new thought and metaphysics. So I'm trying to see if I'm actually on. Last week I had a very odd technical difficulty, and it was me trying to push the start button with my finger on my laptop because I've been using my tablet all day. In the group chat, if you need to, I've been talking about Ernest Holmes. Okay, I guess we're live. We're officially live. So I have some wonderful news for you today. Do you know that the same power and presence that put the galaxies into their spin, the same power and presence that inspires the acorn to grow into the mighty oak tree, is the same force that works within you? And that is why within you, you have all you need to transform hatred into love and judgment into compassion. So yes, we have been talking about Ernest Holmes' book, This Thing Called You. This thing called you is the force that put the galaxies into their spin. It's just expressing through a little physical body, okay? Little compared to, you know, the planets and the stars. I don't know what I'm saying. You're going to find out later on as I'm talking that a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing, and that is actually a good thing. Sometimes if you don't know what you're doing, that can be a good thing. So to recap, last week I talked about the first couple chapters in this book. We talked about how you were created to be an expression for this force that put the galaxies into the spin, the force that created the universe. It works through you and to work for you, right? So it's coming through you to do things for you. This is the creative urge of the entire universe, right? To be creative. You were born to be creative. You were born to be a creator, the artist of your life, okay? And when you aren't being the artist of your life, this is when you'll move away from well-being and you won't feel the happiness that you could feel. Being a creator, remember, is to be the artist of our life. We don't necessarily have to be any good at painting or sculpting or writing music. Being the creator is being the artist of our life. It is choosing from love. So we are creating union. We're creating union. That's the divine expression. And it reminds me of the story about Brahma and how the god Brahma, he's all powerful. He's the god of everything. And he's bored. And so he creates the goddess Maya. And he tells her that he's bored and he wants something to entertain him. So she comes up with this game, and she tells him, first of all, to create the universe and the galaxies and the planets and stars. So he does this. And then she says, okay, take this one planet and fill it with beautiful trees and grass and water and mountains and deserts and ice and everything. So he does that. Then she says, okay, now fill it with animals and put fish in the sea. And so he does that. And then she says, okay, now create a being that can walk around and kind of, live on the planet and can think about you. So he does that. Then she puts Brahma to sleep. She says this is part of the game. So she puts him to sleep. She breaks him into millions of pieces, and she hides a bit of him in every single person. Now she tells him, this is the game. Wake up and find yourself. This is what we are doing, okay? This is what this is all about, is waking up from this dream that we are separate and abandoned, okay? To come to an understanding that we are this thing called you. This thing that's working through us is something that never leaves us. It is a power and a presence. We also talked about how God never wills suffering for somebody, okay? God does not punish people. We do that ourselves. We do that by judging, by criticizing, by condemning, okay? Now, judging is different than making an observation, all right? judging, criticizing, condemning, that gets us into this drama where we believe we're a victim, all these bad things happen, and God is not present in that situation. And observation is just seeing things as they are, okay, without getting into the drama. Like, my knee hurts, right? Oh, my knee hurts. I'm going to be loving to it. I'm going to put some arnica on it. Okay, that's an observation. But to say, oh, my knee hurts, I must have all this negative thinking, God's punishing me, right? That gets us into a drama where it is going to make us feel separate. Okay, we're not going to feel the presence and that power working through us. So we seek first the kingdom of heaven. Okay, we talked about that also. We seek first the kingdom of heaven. And basically, when we do that, it just means that we only are making observations about our surroundings. We're not getting into the drama. So if something happens, we can say, wow, I wonder how the universe is going to work through this mess, okay? Or I wonder what God's going to do with this. Or I wonder what the universe has in mind for me next. I don't know. One of my friends, Mike, said that to me like a month ago. He says, I wonder what the universe has in store for you now. And I just thought I loved that. I loved that. You know, and we can do that, when we can ask those kind of questions, even when something bad has happened, something that we judge as bad, we are basically surrendering our will to divine will, okay? And so that was all last week. This week I started on chapter 4, which to me it is basically a chapter on the law of cause and effect, because it's about our ability to make decisions, and we are either making decisions based on love or we're making decisions based on fear. So there's a cause and there's an effect, right? Because making a decision based on fear will change what happens next. Making a decision based on love will change what happens next. I'm going to read a quote to you. And this is Ernest Holmes talking as if Spirit is talking to us, okay? I have given you all. I have implanted freedom, individuality, and self-choice within you. Finally, through experience, you will learn the better and wiser way, okay? So within us, we have the power to make these choices. We actually have everything we need. We can, at any time, through our experiences of choosing from love, we can choose a better, brighter way. But it is always up to us. It's always up to us. It is always our choice. We're the one making the decision. We have the choice to waste this power if we want to, right? We don't have to do anything good with it. We can waste it. We know people who waste their talent, right? Maybe we even did it too. But have you ever known somebody and they were just a brilliant, I don't know, a brilliant artist, and yet instead they chose to work as a, I don't know, forest ranger, a chef? I don't know. I mean, all of it's good, but sometimes we know people who have a brilliant talent to do one thing, and yet they seem to run away from it, right? Because it feels like a lot of responsibility might go with that talent. We may even done that. We may have even done that ourselves. Okay, we do the same thing with all this power. Okay, with that power comes responsibility, because we have to take responsibility for our decisions, for our choices. I remember when I was ignorant. I mean, maybe I still am. I probably am. But I can remember when I didn't have to buy into all this stuff, and I could just enjoy thinking whatever I wanted. I could enjoy blaming other people and making my problems their fault, because I didn't have to do anything about it. Okay, so we waste our power when we are being mean-spirited, judgmental, or critical. And my son just texted me, so I'm going to turn this down. I knew this would happen too. Now, my most asked question this week was all about God keeping us from discovering our inner spirit. A couple of the questions I got were, why does God allow me to be confused, right? Okay, why does God allow me to be confused, not be able to find my spiritual path, and live in poverty and sickness? Why did God let me get a divorce? Okay, I got that one too. And I like this one a lot. Why does God keep me from remembering my past lives? Okay, I don't know. Why does God keep me from meeting my soulmate? If we are asking these questions, there's a disconnect between us and our spirit. God is not a person. Okay? God's a force of nature. All right? God is the force that put the planets into their spin, the galaxies into their spin. God is that force that works through us, that gives all of our internal organs all their intelligence. Okay, God is a force. God's not a judgmental person sitting and deciding who's going to get what, all right? Who's going to get the girl or who's going to get the great job. Okay, God is like rain. I heard somebody say the other day, well, when you stop trying to control the rain, you know you've surrendered. Okay? We have weather all the time that we can't do anything about, right? But we don't, if it rains, we don't go out and yell at the rain, say, why did you rain on my car and you got it all wet? Okay? It's just raining. That's just what it does. Okay, I have another quote for you. The thing that stands between you and the greater good is a thing of thought and nothing else. It is not reality that you must change, but your mental reaction to it, to that reality. Our mental reactions are patterns, right? And patterns, they're patterns that are automatically attracting or repelling to us. And a thing that happens automatically is a habit, right? And habits display themselves in our lives in all kinds of ways. We get up in the morning and brush our teeth, make coffee, let the dog out to go to the bathroom, and sometimes we do that without thinking about it because it's a habit, right? So it's just something we do without thinking. Getting from home to work is a habit. Maybe we drive the same way all the time. We get to work and we think, I don't even remember getting here, right? I don't remember the drive. Okay, that's a habit. And then we have habits that don't always feel like habits, okay? But if we're out in public, we may have a habit of smiling at strangers and looking them in the eye, making a point to make contact, to make a connection. Or we may have a habit where when we meet a stranger, we look down instead. We look at the ground, we look at our feet because we're so uncomfortable. But that's a habit. And then we have habits that are even deeper that we may not know we have, like saying no to opportunities, all right? It may not feel like a habit, but if we receive a wonderful opportunity to do something, and then we say, oh, there's no way I could do that, and then we say, no, thank you. Okay, we've just backed out because of a habit, right? That's a habit. Saying no to the universe, right? Saying, oh, that wasn't a synchronicity that the universe just tried to send me. The universe didn't try to send me a message. Okay, that's a habit based on fear. Most of my clients, one of the first habits that they want to bring into their life is to see coincidences as the universe talking to them, as a synchronicity, okay? And I asked for a message from the universe today, and I just said, what's going to happen next? What's the next brightest thing? And I happened to be sitting at a Starbucks because I actually had a couple hours to kill, Oh, too bad. I had to kill 2 hours in Starbucks. But they were playing all this great music. And then as soon as I asked that question, I wonder what the universe has in store for me now. I wonder what this next thing is going to happen. The song came on, and I think I recognized it from a TV commercial, but it was something like, this is going to be the best day of my life. Right? And I didn't let myself say, oh, no, the universe isn't telling me that. I just want to hear that message. I let the universe tell me yes. Right? All habits are patterns that we programmed into our daily routine. Okay, that's what a habit is. All of this automatic thinking, it's a habit, and it can be changed. Spending this time at Starbucks today, all of the baristas are very friendly. And they probably are just that way naturally. That's probably the kind of person is attracted to that job, just somebody who likes people, and they're good with people, and they naturally have good cheer. But Starbucks still has to train them. And as I noticed that every time a customer would come in, somebody would say, welcome, how's your day, right? And they would just say that. And so they're trained to respond a certain way, right? And it becomes a habit. They developed new habits. I have another quote for you about changing habits. And remember, if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat. There's a chat box here if you're watching it on YouTube. And do you see in there that I said, hi, everyone? I don't know. Also, if you're watching this from my webpage, there is also a chat box. It's in the bottom corner. It's a little blue box. It says click here to chat. So the chat box is not open. You have to open it. Anyway, so back to this quote, and it is about changing our habits. And Ernest Holmes says this: "It is a process of following the intuition back to the pattern, of feeling toward it, of accepting it, and of acting as though it were there." Acting as though it were there. This is about trusting the universe. Now, we are creating habits, and our habits are based on choices that we've made. We're making choices based on our intuition. Now, intuition, this is the other big question that I get every week. I get a lot of people asking me about intuition. I'm going to tell you, first of all, what intuition's not, because this is actually what everybody thinks intuition is. Okay, but it's not. Intuition is not this thing. It is not a guarantee. Intuition is not the voice that says, yes, if you quit your job, the rest of your life will be amazing. You'll make a ton of money, you'll have great relationships, and you'll have great health. You'll have the best dog in the world. Okay, that's not intuition. That's not intuition. And then that is why so many people don't want to trust intuition, because it's not giving them the guarantee. All right, so intuition is the voice of the angel companion that walks with you. Intuition is the voice is that inner guide. Okay, Jesus called it the Holy Spirit or the counselor, right? I like the idea of the angelic companion. Okay, but intuition, it's always around us. It is always seeking to work through us. It's always seeking to be heard. All right, that is intuition. The intuition is always telling us to move out of the comfort zone. Okay, the intuition is not going to say, oh yeah, stay here, hang out, and don't do anything. Don't try, because that could be scary if you try something. Intuition is the thing telling us to do something that might just be a little scary. All right, intuition wants us out of the comfort zone. I'm going to tell you how this unfolded for me in something that I don't normally do, okay? See, intuition is telling us to do something that we think we don't know how to, that we think we wouldn't know how to do it, all right? Now, I want to tell you, people think I know what I'm doing, you know, half the time, but I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants all the time, all right? I don't know what I'm doing. Now, this unfolded for me over the last year, and this big intuitive hit that I got, and it's still actually unfolding for me, and I don't know how it's going to continue to look, but around a year ago, I listened to a Lisa Nichols interview. Lisa Nichols has, you should Google her. She has all kinds of interesting information. She writes, you know, positive books, and I happened to hear an interview with her, and she's talking about the things that she does for kids. A lot of her programs are based on helping teenagers, okay? So I listened to her, and I thought, man, I would really love to do that. I would love to help teens. I would love to help empower teens and help teenagers discover their inner creative monster and become these great visionary thinkers. But then the next thing was, oh, but I don't know how to do that, right? I don't know how I would do that. I don't know how I would do that. Okay, that's a sign intuition has just been talking to you. If you get this idea and then you say, I don't know how I would do that. Okay, that's intuition. So anyway, that's how it was sounding in my head. Well, little by little, I found myself receiving information, right? Like I would read a book, and as I read the book, I would think, I could turn this into a talk for kids. And I was a minister of a little New Thought church for a while, and I worked with kids there sometimes. And so I thought, well, I could turn this into a talk, and then I could add this, and then I could add this. And then I found out at my kids' high school, they really needed some teachers, parent volunteers, to teach mini courses. What they're asking parents to do is teach a course on something they were already good at, okay? I thought, wow, I could teach a class then to these high schoolers and about creativity, and it scared me, and I didn't want to do it, and I didn't know what I would even do, so I did it. I did it, and I ended up doing, 3 different mini courses there, and they were fabulous. I never knew what I was doing from week to week, and yet I did it, okay? And it was very well received. That is the voice of intuition, telling you do this, and you say, I don't know how to do it. Intuition guides you a step at a time. I was always just given enough information to get me through the next week. I mean, seriously, for like a whole school year, okay, from August until June. That's how I received information, week by week, all right? But I did it, and it was really fun. Okay, so we have to make choices. We're always going to have to make choices every day. Our life is filled with choices. When the time comes that we have to make a choice, our intuition will kick in, right? Because intuition is there for every choice. Now, if we are feeling confusion, and this is what I hear from my clients most of the time, I'm not intuitive. I have this choice to make, and yet I was confused. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. Well, that's because your intuition is telling you something that you don't want to do, right? That you're scared to do it. Now, usually intuition, we want to do it, but we're really scared to do it, okay? Now, if we're feeling confusion, this is where we use, okay, this thing called us, right? This power that is working through us, this transformative energy, this is where we call on it. If we are feeling confused, we make a statement of peace. All right? He says that right in this book. Make a statement of peace. So to me, a statement of peace, it could look something like this. All right? Infinite Spirit, open the way for me to be a good receiver. Okay? We want to receive that, and we want to receive intuition and understand it. We have to ask to be a good receiver. Okay? To be a good receiver filled with clarity. Right? So we trust the intuition. That I may be open and receptive to my highest good. Okay? We don't want to only be open. We want to be open and receptive, right? If we're just open, our intuition might make us think like this. Oh, well, I'm open to doing something new and exciting. Oh, but that sounds too scary. But if we're open and receptive, we will say, oh, I'm open to trying this new thing. That sounds really scary. How would the universe help me through that? What would I do next? What's the next thing? Okay, so we want to be open and receptive. Infinite Spirit, open the way for me to be a good receiver filled with clarity, that I may be open and receptive to my highest good. Okay, this is an active process. If we're choosing to come from a space of fear, we're going to know that because it's not going to feel good. We're going to feel confused. So we have to make a choice. At that point, we have to make a choice. If we're feeling fear, we want to make a statement of faith. And this is my statement of faith. Infinite Spirit, thank you for helping me to understand that my problem is already solved. Okay, it's already solved. I don't know how. I have this problem in my life. I don't know how you're going to work through it, but I'll trust that you'll work through it. I'll let myself be surprised and delighted. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You would be surprised at the power of a few thank yous. Try it right now. Say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, this is alchemy, all right? This is what alchemy is. This is a process of transformation. You are an alchemist, and you are transmuting fear into love and faith. That is what you're doing. You're an alchemist. It is just that easy. It is just that easy. We delay our good by overcomplicating things. All right? We think we have to overcome all this stuff. We have to overcome all these emotional burdens from childhood. We have to overcome all the horrible relationships, horrible jobs, horrible things that have happened to us. We have to put lots and lots of attention on all these situations, heal ourselves from that process, and then we can move forward, right? But, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with looking at some of the things that have happened to us. It's good to notice patterns that mess with us. Okay, but if we hang on to a childhood trauma and keep looking at it as the reason why we don't have what we want to have in our life right now, we're actually stuck there. We've just sent our spirit back into the past. Okay, we're using up all this energy and time on doing healing, okay, instead of from the past and keeping our energy stuck in the past. So we're not actually going to get to experience the healing that we would like to heal. Right? Heal the issues that we want to heal. Okay, so we do want to notice patterns that mess with us. Okay, like if somebody feels that they need approval all the time, and they say, well, that's, because my parents never approved of me. Okay, when they can either spend a lot of time dwelling on it and staying stuck in the past by saying, well, I have to figure out why my parents did this to me, and why did they do this, and what was on their mind, and blah, 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 okay? Because that keeps us stuck. We can't move forward from that, right? So if we want to notice patterns, okay, and something our parents did that keeps us, in a state of always needing approval, we might just acknowledge that they were screwed up, right? I think it's the Course in Miracles that says, only people who are hurting can hurt other people. So we want to remember we're an infinite being in a body. We're a spiritual being having a human experience. Okay, when we get stuck on the things from our past that have hurt us, we are stuck in another time zone. Okay, we're stuck in the past. And so it's really hard for this healing to work through us. Okay, we are infinite beings in a body. You are an infinite being in a body. All right? As a spiritual being having a human experience, okay, we're making observations about things that happen. Okay? So maybe something traumatic happened in childhood, but instead, if we can remember we're infinite beings in a body, we're the spiritual being having a human experience, we can look at that experience, we can observe it. We can say, oh, this thing happened, and it was pretty bad, and it made me not trust people, okay, and it made me have trouble expressing my creative self. Okay, this is my observation, all right? So that's just a little different way to do it. When we remain present and we just observe things and we trust our intuition, we are able to move through those things so much faster and so much brighter. Everything becomes so much lighter when we are trusting our intuition to help us get through that process. Okay, our intuition will always be there to remind us that we are infinite beings in a body. Okay, that we always have this angelic companion that is with us, that walks beside us. It's surrounding you right now. You cannot get away from it. Okay, you cannot reach your arm out and actually push it past the angelic companion, okay, or the Holy Spirit, source, whatever you want to call it. It is there, and it's there for good, right? It's not going to step away. It's not leaving. Jesus taught us about the law of cause and effect, that there is love and there is law. Love is the givingness of spirit. It is the desire of spirit, of source, to constantly pour forth through us and give us everything that we can imagine. Okay, that is love. Love is what seeks to express as much as it can through us. This is the idea of expressing the greatest amount of light possible while we're in a body. Okay, letting all that love express through us. Law, the law part of this is that we can only receive what we let ourselves receive. We are the ones that limit ourselves. We are the ones that put the limitation on how Source can work through us. We receive according to our thoughts. All right? We receive according to our thoughts, and those thoughts affect the decisions that we make. Did we trust the universe? Did we just make a decision and trust in the universe? Listen to that voice of intuition? Or did we come from a space of fear and ignore the voice of intuition? Okay, back away, try to ignore it. When we choose from fear, it changes what happens next. That's cause and effect. When we choose from love, it changes what happens next. And that is also cause and effect. Starting right now, you are on a journey that you have never taken before. If you choose from love, okay, for this journey that starts right now in this moment, you will change what happens next. So, until next time, remember that you are a divine child of a loving creator. You are a force for good. You are a light, and you light the way. In everything you do, you are blessed. And so it is. All right? Well, take care, and we will see you next Monday. Remember, if you have any questions about this broadcast, you can email me at teambrightstar@gmail.com, or come find me on Facebook, Bright Star Church, or Deanna Lay Joseph. Okay, we'll see you later. Take care.